All right, shalom, shalom to the nation of Israel, shalom. All right, this is your brother Kazak here, out of Great Millstone, New Orleans, coming at you with another lesson through the spirit and power, y'all, by Shema Shah, right? Prior to getting started, we want to give our infinite honor and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh, Ba'ashem, our Kakadash. Double honor to the elders and apostles at Great Millstone, who rule and teach well, peace, blessings, and salutation to the hopeful elect scattered throughout the four corners of the earth, all right? And the title of today's lesson is going to be the Motb is to come soon. Okay. All right. That's the title of today's lesson. Is going to be the Motb is coming soon. Okay. And basically, what you see up here is, what we refer to here at Great Millstone is the Motb. I'm not going to say, the name of what it's called. But as you can see, you can read it, for yourself. Okay, and this is what we believe that's, going to be coming. Okay, that's going to be implemented, to the world. All right, and this is that defining moment, for a lot of people, man. Because there's a lot of our people, that's still, daydreaming. So to speak, okay, just sleep in general, not understanding the times to come, and what's truly going on. Okay, let me do this real quick. Slag it. All right, and obviously, the Lord has it to where He, just never revealed the love of the truth to him. Right, waking them up, giving them basically spiritually everything they need to be able to withstand this time, man. We're gonna get the scriptures, but I have the picture up here, and I'll just say, a grain of rice, throughout the video, for algorithm purposes, because everything, more and more things that we say is becoming extremely taboo. All right, we can't say, all right, bad words. You can't say this. You can't say that. So like I said, you people, can see it, right? And this is what we call, the Motb, man. You take this, you are, pledging, allegiance, okay, and servitude to Esau, Edom, the Edomites, the so-called white man. Okay, so either you're going to serve the Lord, which is Yahweh Ba'ashem Shai, okay, or you're going to be a servant and slave to this system. Well, there is no in between, straddling the fence, man. Okay, either you're going to believe in and keep and hold on to the faith and not be with this system. Now don't get me wrong, there gonna be some people that just, they're slated to just come up against the system, whether they believe it's the Motb or if it's not the Motb, they just wanna renege against the system anyway. But, for the, this is for, the believers, man, okay? This is for the really, truly, for the elect of the nation of Israel to get right. And information, being informative, okay, and letting the people know that if you take this, right, you're pledging allegiance, and you're changing ownership to say that you are now owned by Esau, Edom, the Edomites, the so-called white man. Okay, all right. Now, as you can see. Let me click on this here. Okay, you can see the grain of rice, right? You can see, I'll say this, the tool used to insert the grain of rice, okay? And then you basically see the things you can, okay, you can't do, right? Can't, what they say, can or cannot, right? In which is ultimately gonna make you not be a part of society. You're going to be ousted, right? And then eventually, basically kind of monitored, tracked, and hunted, by this devil, man. He's going to be trying to put people in, we call it C camps. So if you know, right? He's going to be putting different people in C camps, okay? He's going to be putting people, he's going to be unaliving people, right? Because more than likely, all right, not taking this would pretty much be a form of treason, so to speak, right? You're basically an enemy of the state, right? You're not down with the cause. So if you're not with us, you're against us, right? And we know that we're pretty much, we're with Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh Shai, man. All right, let's go get this real quick. All right, this Revelation 13 and verse 16. And it says, and he caused of all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or on their foreheads. Okay, and I'll read the same verse as I kind of go through in the GNT too as well. Okay, it says, the beast forced all the people, right, small and great, rich and poor, slave and free, to have a mark placed on their right hands or on their foreheads, right? And, we can see it's prevalent, right, within society. There's certain places I go, and I know other brothers go to as well, that, has these different readers, set up, okay? I remember, being in a CVS, right? And then they had the, basically it's all digital. You pretty much, at the time you can open them, but I could see how soon at a certain time you won't be able to open them, right? But they basically had a reader, some type of infrared reader at the top of it, and at each one was a thumb reader, okay, placed at the handle on the right side. So, scriptures say, hey, look, at least Satan, should get advantage of us. We're not ignorant to his devices, man. So we know this devil's plots, right? This devil's plans, okay, what he's got going on and what he wants to do, right? How he wants to change the world, how he wants to implement his NWO, and how he wants to basically control and monitor and everything in every aspect, in every walk of life, for the people, man. All right. And just by us knowing this, is a great blessing and a great threat, right, to Esau, Edom's, plans, man, because we keep shining a light on the things that he want to achieve, okay, the things that he wants to get done and implementing his NWO, okay? So, let's read verse 17. It says that no man might buy or sell, save he that have the mark, or the number of the name, or the number of the beast, or the number of his name. Let's read the same thing in the GNT. It says, no one could buy or sell without this mark. That is the beast's name, or the number that stands for the name. Right? And it says, here is wisdom, let him that have understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, right? And his number is 666. Okay, 666. I believe it says this is this calls for wisdom. Whoever is intelligent can figure out the meaning of the number of the beast, because the number stands for the name of someone. Its number is 666. All right, so that's Esau's MO, right? He did it during Salakia. I'm gonna let this here pass up real quick. Right, it's always something. But his this is his MO, right? And I'm not gonna name what happened, but back, in 2020, there was a certain event that happened that took the world by storm. Dealing with pestilence, so to speak. Okay, and what did he do during that event? Okay, he had people sitting, staggered. Okay, in different parts of sections of the world. You couldn't gather together with more than 6 people, right? Okay, the people, when they was in line, okay, they had to be, at certain places, right? They had to be 6 feet apart, right? And there's, a multitude of different ways that he shows, okay, and claims, who he is, okay, because the elites know, right? The elites know who they are, right? And to be honest with you, now everything is just becoming more, normalized, so to speak. They're not trying to, be all super secretive and hide it. They pretty much coming straight forward and saying, this is who we are, and this is what we want to implement. And, who's going to stop us, man? Okay? But, we know Yahweh Bashim Shai, right? Yahweh's going to send his son, Yahweh Shai Mashiach, right? The anointed to save the elect of the nation of Israel, man. Right? And it really just this here. He wasn't, what do they call that? What I wanted to say. He wasn't expecting, the Israelites themselves to wake up. He wasn't expecting the elect to wake up, for men to get the understanding, the knowledge and wisdom of the scriptures, come back to their heritage, break it all down, to reveal him for who he is. Right? He took account for a lot of things, but not for that. So like I said, as you can see up here, you see airport, legal, going to the justice system. That's what it looks like there. It says, safe, approved. You can see stuff that have to deal with the medical field. Okay. So this is just everything, man. It's you, right? You take this. This is you're a part of the system now. Okay, you're a part of his plans. You're a part, your consciousness, who you are. Everything is just, you're just a part. You're being uploaded into a cloud, man. Right? You go, let's say you're playing. It's cloud gaming. I'll say that. Cloud gaming. If you know what I'm talking about. But anyway, and you can see, where they implementing that. Right? You can see the tool. Which we go into that. The word mark. Going into Salakia, the Karagma, okay, also the Karaks, which is basically, when you look that up, it's basically, a tool used to implant it, right? And it'll tell you, man, it'll tell you a state, right? A palisade, a rampart, right? Okay, and does not this look like it? So everything is lining up, man. The Lord's plans. All right. Okay, everything is lining up. It's all the Lord's plans is coming true. Right? The word of the Lord is standing tall, right? Firm. Okay. And the prophecies will stand the test of time. Right? It's not going to fail. Okay, the only thing that's going to fail is the people's desires, man. Because they don't want to see Yahweh Shai return, man. Okay? They want to stay in this wicked society and become more and more wicked. Okay? You know, that's what they want. All right? Let's get okay, this is Sirach 27 and verse 1. It says, many have sinned for a small matter, right? And he that seeketh for abundance will turn his eyes away. Verse 2, it says, as a nail sticketh fast between the joinings of the stones, so do his sin stick close between buying and selling, man. But it says what? It said, man, people sin for a small matter, man. Right? People have greatly offended for for smaller things, right? So how much more when you can't feed the kids, man, right? You can't feed yourself. Okay, when you don't have electrical, internet, phone working, right? All the luxuries of life, so to speak. How much more? You think people are going to sin for them, man? They're going to be people running to take this, man. Because the idea of it really, in so many ways, is to break the will of the people, right? There are some people that's going to, try to fight, hold out, Some people have enough money to kind of buy resources and stay afloat for a little while. But how long, man? How long are they going to be willing to endure? Okay? To not make this devil your master, man. To not transfer ownership over. Okay? The only people that's going to pass the test is the elect. Because they're the only ones willing to do what it takes. Okay? And understand what's going on, to pass the test ultimately, right? Now, ultimately, they got the Spirit of the Lord on them. Okay, that's working with them to overcome all these different obstacles, man. They were born for this, man. Born, battle tested, and put through the ringer, so to speak. Okay, but let's go back to this here. All right, so just giving the people a vision, okay, photo on what it is, man. Just what it looks like. All right, so to speak. Okay, but yeah, that's pretty much all I have. Through the Spirit and power of Yahweh Shema Shai. Hey, look, the title of today's lesson, is the Motb is coming soon, man. All right, so be on the lookout, right? Be on the lookout for these devils to come through with their plan. All right, but like I said, that's all I had through the Spirit and power of Yahweh Shema Shai. Lord willing, this lesson was edifying, first and foremost, to the whole for elect. Probably getting out of here, we want to give all infinite honor and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushua, Ba'ashem, Al-Kakadash. Double honor to the elders and apostles at Great Millstone who rule and teach well. Peace, blessings, and salutations be to the whole for elect scattered throughout the four corners of the earth, all right? Kwame Yasha Allah, Baba Ball, and Shalom.